Hey everybody, welcome to SwJ. Today we're going to be picking up where we left off last time, working on my genes project, and we're going to be talking about a bacteria that converts CO2, it's carbon dioxide, for all you folks out there in the know, to ethanol, acetone, and isopropyl, which are hugely in demand these days. So, let's get into it. First, we'll grab my big cushion needle. Big chunk of heavy black thread. And away we go. So yeah, a company called LanzaTech has discovered a bacteria. Wow. There we go. That converts, like I said, CO2, carbon dioxide. One of the biggest things these days is trying to get carbon out of the atmosphere. And there is a bacteria which, like I say, produces ethanol, acetone, and isopropyl. And these products are usually carbon emitters. For an example, acetone, when you produce it, one of the major byproducts is CO2 to the tune of 2 tons. Just going to skip over to the project here for a second. What I'm going to do is go along the top and this side to anchor everything. I was going around and back this way, and I just want to make sure that everything here is anchored before I continue down the sides. So that's where we're at with the sewing project. So right now we're going to be going across the top to this seam and down. Now, like I was saying, acetone produces about 2 tons of CO2 per ton of product. Now, this new process using this bacteria actually consumes almost that same amount. It consumes I think it was 1.7 or 1.78 or something like that tons of CO2 per ton of product. So that's pretty amazing. Talk about reversing the damage that you've done. And the process is fairly quick. Natural processes a lot of the time take a long time, but this bacteria works very quickly. And this company, LanzaTech, has already produced 30 million gallons of ethanol with this process. $30 million gallons. I don't know how many tons that is, but that's a lot of CO2. Every once in a while my threads get unbalanced. You just got to go back and pull them both individually and get everything lined up again where it was, and then you can carry on. So 30 million gallons of ethanol and what they are doing is they are converting their factories that they have at present to be able to process all three interchangeably. So one day you'd be producing ethanol, all of a sudden, oh, there's a hand sanitizer shortage, we need more isopropyl, and so then they switch over to producing isopropyl. And once they can do that, then they can, in a clean, responsible way, produce these spirits, these cleansing or burning or whatever type of spirit you wish. Or whatever is in most demand, and they can be fluid in that way, or in this case multi-fluid in that way. And that's one of the most important things about a company that survives, and that is being diverse. Because if you have a place that produces ethanol, which most likely was going into fuel, and all of a sudden there's a situation where fuel isn't being used as much, but isopropyl or acetone are being used more, then you can just be fluid and switch over to a different fluid and continue to thrive. That's crucial. If all of a sudden you're stuck with all this ethanol and nothing to do with it, that's no good. Then you have an issue, you have storage issues, plus you want to keep producing it because that's what you do, but then you can't because you're not selling it, and it's a bad deal. What I'm doing when I'm sewing here is I'll poke a few times to make sure that I find the edge of the seam, and then I catch the seam. Then I'll go back through and then just bump it up against the edge of the seam and pop it up beside. So I'm just grabbing basically the bottom edge of the seam and anchoring to that. But isn't that amazing? A bacteria that can produce alcohols, like ethanol, isopropyl. I guess it shouldn't be that amazing because bacteria produces the alcohol that people drink. I just thought of that. But they have found one that does it cleanly and converts CO2. That's the biggest thing, is the CO2 consumption. Glad I've got the thimble today. Clover brand, made in Japan. Different sizes, which is the cool thing with them. Take a large for my index finger. Apparently it is getting difficult to find isopropyl alcohol these days, because it is being used in so much sanitizer. And sorry, I thought I had shut that off. Okay, sorry about that. So that sounds like a really great solution. Pulling carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and providing the world with greatly needed products. The win-win is always a big thing for me. It's like, not only are you doing one thing for the world, it's also doing this for the entire world, you know. Alrighty, time to tie off this thread. Pull some pins. And call her an episode. So I just want to say thanks very much for joining me. I do really appreciate the time we get to spend together. Let's have a quick look at our progress here. Got the stitch all the way across the top and starting down. Going very well. But yeah, thanks a lot for joining me. Till next time, keep chilling. Don't forget your cookie.